Music is like root work. It writes your true name on a scrap of paper and makes you dance undignified like King David. This is the Hoodoo Music Podcast.
Getting ready for a sun bath.
Walter Wooten.
Walter Wooten.
You
Ready?
name a boy, will you name him Walter? Okay, you were ready.
This is the Hoodoo Music Podcast, episode number 21, and the guest is Shit Karate. It's a two-piece. Describe your sound. Just go for it.
I guess the easiest thing to say is loud.
Loud.
Right? Loud.
I mean, you guys kind of do this instrumental, but like thematic, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's kind of on the realm of like stoner rock instrumental.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, it's hard to describe.
Thump and glint.
We call it thump and glint.
Okay. Well, actually, why don't we just, before we get into anything, why don't we just go straight into some music? What's this first one?
The first song, it's actually the very first song that Jared and I played together 5 years ago when I was trying to talk him into being in the band. It's called the Go-To Song.
don't you guys go ahead and introduce yourselves?
I'm Tom Goss.
And I'm Jared Berger.
Yeah, Jared and I met, 5 or 6 years ago?
It was probably more like 7.
7. We met at a music festival.
Ulukatu.
A friend of ours puts together this music festival he rents an entire campground, and I was playing shit karate with a different drummer at the time, and you were in Signs of Iris.
Mm-hmm.
So that's where it all began. And my drummer was moving from Atlanta to Detroit. Ketch, great guy. Hi, Ketch, if you're listening. So I just wanted to keep playing, and I really liked Jared's drumming. And it took me about 2 years to talk him into doing it.
It was an interesting thing because he asked me a couple times to do it, and I was just like, so we're not going to rehearse. We're not going to have actual songs. We're just going to mostly just make it up. And my entire musical career, it's all been like, all right, here's the song. This is how we're going to do it. This is the composition. And we're going to nail it out, and we're going to perfect it and things like that. And it's going to be, somewhat clean and polished. And he asked me to do that. And I'm just like, nah, I can't do that. That's not what you're supposed to do, Tom.
Yeah.
That's not what music do.
So I had to take drastic measures, and I got him really drunk and took him to my house, and we
This
jammed.
story does not end the way you think it does.
Yeah, we jammed. Yeah, we jammed, and we did the go-to song.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And he's like, I'll do it.
I was just like, okay, well, I guess this can be a thing. And
So it's just improvisational and instrumental and that sort of thing.
yeah.
When because you've got titles for some of these songs, and I know you kind of make them up as you go along, but you have structure to them as well. Where do you get the ideas for the titles and the themes and the inspiration?
Tom's brain.
Well, and also, okay, well then Tom, does it also is it like a mental image or something like that you're working with?
Sometimes. I mean,
Train Sweats is probably the best way to
kind of describe how it's evolved.
Our names for our songs, actually, I think all of them we come up with them on stage. Like Train Sweats.
We played it bad once, and we called it Train Wreck, but we still recovered it, but we didn't play it the way we wanted. And then we noticed when we play that song, it's at a certain part of the set where I get sweaty, and I sweat from my arms.
It's the craziest thing.
Like, it's just my arms. So we combined arm sweats and train wreck and just
Train Sweats.
and call it Train Sweats.
So you've both been playing in a lot of bands for a long time.
Yeah, you know, and that's kind of really how the idea for Shit Karate started. You know, I was in a band where there was a lot of infighting, and when the band finally kind of crumbled, I thought, you know what, I get along with drummers, so I'm just going to start a band with a drummer. I'm not even going to have singing, and that later evolved into, it's not even have songs. And I always thought it'd be cool, like, if you're in a band and you're in the studio when you write a new song, it's always like the greatest song, like you guys are high-fiving and all that. So essentially, I kind of feel like we're doing that on stage for people, like we're bringing them into the rehearsal space, and I like that.
The high five moment.
Yeah, they get to be part of the high five moment, you know.
You jump in the air and it's like a stage freeze.
Yeah. You know, so that's, but yeah, we have played in a lot of bands. You know, I've lived all over the U.S., so you wouldn't know any of the bands, but, you know, Jared's a local guy. Was in Signs of Iris. Now he's in Hugger Mugger.
Yeah. I play music. I'm a musical
Shit
prostitute.
Karate. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Essentially, like, I've lived all over the U.S., and I moved to this little town of Greenville, and it's the first place I've lived where 95% of my friends are musicians. And it's like we have a music scene here. There's a lot of bands, and
I don't know if I know anyone on some level that can't play music, actually.
yeah.
Sure.
It's beautiful.
You know, and I think kind of everybody's figuring it out. We have, you know, venues that are popping up, and
Yeah.
you know, there's still some, you know, differences between the different types of music and where you play, but I think we're finally all coming together, and I'm excited. You know, I'm an old 44-year-old guy who's
Yeah.
playing punk rock music or thumping Glen or whatever we call it, but just seeing some of these younger kids. You know, we talked off the mic earlier about the whole Pablo scene. You know,
Yeah.
the kids in Clemson, and
It's incredible.
yeah, it's I'm excited. The Greenville's on the map. It's going to be on the map.
Yeah, it's cool to see, because I've heard a lot of people around here talking about how nothing's ever going to happen here, and like as I've been getting back into the music scene after like being out of it for like 10 years, and starting to get to know these people, I'm like, no, there's something about to happen. Like,
We're on the cusp.
Yeah.
Something is growing here.
Yeah,
Like,
you know, and out of town bands have even said it that you know, they'll get done with the set and they come outside and everybody they talk to is in a band, and they're not necessarily talking about their own bands. They're talking about other bands. Like, hey, you should check this band out and that band, and you don't get that anywhere else. Like, you go to New York, it's stuffy, you know,
Stuffy and self-servant.
yeah. There are other spots in the country where, you know, everybody's kind of on the same level, but it's just it's a unique thing. We're doing it kind of behind the scenes, and
yeah, I think the next thing that's got to happen is it's got to become less insular. Like, it's the people that are going to shows are all in bands or somehow involved with the music scene,
Yeah.
and we got to get people that are not, that just want to go to shows.
yeah,
True.
yeah,
True, yeah.
And I think that'll happen more with these, like, the younger bands that are coming up, or people that have been around for a long time that are like becoming staples.
yeah. You see it. I mean, like we've played with like Prozac Dreams, and they bring just a good group of fans. So they do have the non-musicians that are there, and they're always there, always dancing.
Yeah, that's what's so fun about their fans, and hopefully a lot of other fans will they'll follow the lead on that. Is their fans, if Prozac Dreams plays first, their fans stay until the music is done.
Oh wow.
They do. They stay until the music is done.
Yeah.
Like, they'll pack out a club or bar or whatever, and they will just be there until the music is done.
Yeah.
And so often, you know, you'll see, hey, what time is your band playing? And then people will come for just that, and then
They leave, and that's a very
And they
like New
leave.
York thing.
yeah, you're telling me.
It just clears out, you know.
Yeah.
Like, hey, this is great.
I've
It's
been
packed.
there.
And then it's empty, you know. And I don't know. I think it's getting there. I think the radio room move to a larger venue is going to help.
Oh gosh, yeah.
You know, there's venues like the Spinning Jenny. You know, there's some medium-sized venues now, and I think that's going to help. I think that's what
Sure.
people want. They don't. I don't know. People are afraid to go see these just garage bands, and it's a shame, but it is
Sure.
what it is. So now, I think a lot of the bands are going to get mixed with some bigger bands, and I'm hoping it evolves the way that I think it can.
Yeah.
But it's neat. I'm interested to see what the next chapter is in the whole Greenville music scene. But I'm excited about it.
Yeah. Well, what's this next song?
The next song we're playing is
I don't remember.
Let's see, you've done Bull with Bangs.
oh yeah. Next song we're gonna play is Bull with Bangs.
Bull with Bangs. I yelled something at you, and you thought I said Bull with Bangs, wasn't it?
Yeah. Well, I told him I had written a new song that I was gonna try and play that night, and he yelled something, and it sounded like Bull with Bangs.
And
I
he's
thought,
like, all right, this is the name of that song forever.
Yeah. So we started calling it that, and then we realized there actually is a bull that has long hair and bangs. It's the Highland cow. It is one handsome animal, and so that's now our. If you seen our T-shirts, it's
Yeah, our
It's a
T-shirts have a
t-shirt.
Highland cow on it.
Nice.
so.
Nice. So we were talking earlier about kind of what shit karate is all about, and it is just kind of like making it up and really not caring, in
Yeah.
a lot of ways. But so what's with that in mind? What becomes the goal with not caring?
Well, no, I mean, I grew up in Detroit, and going to shows in Detroit, the fans absolutely go nuts if there's a good show going on, and that's really what the goal is I want the fans to just really have a blast.
Some of the best advice I've ever gotten was from Tom, and he was actually giving it to me about my other band, Signs of Iris, at the time. It was like after a show and something not so good went. It was just a crap moment in the show. Somebody screwed up, something along those lines, and Tom was just like, "Look, don't worry about that." He's like, because the other parts you nailed it, and the quote is just like, "No one will notice really if you mess up. People will notice if you nail it." And that's kind of what shit karate is for me, is like the whole show. I am not worried about the tempo variations and me hitting a stick where I should have been hitting a snare or something like that. because I know that at some point in the show, I'm going to nail it. And that's going to be the moment that people remember, not the little minuscule thing that didn't matter. Is if we get into it and we feel it, then we're going to make other people feel it.
Yeah.
And so,
I just want everybody to have a good time. I mean, that's why, like, our live shows, we always try. Like, our rehearsals, we don't rehearse. Our rehearsals are like, hey, what are we going to do during the show?
our rehearsals are text messages.
They're text messages.
Like, hey, what are we doing? Hey, what are we doing this week? Oh, well, Jason has an inversion table. I want to do a guitar solo upside down. And I'm like, cool, let's do that. And then he sends back, great practice.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, and then there's stuff that I always thought would be cool. Like, we took leaf blowers and we turned them into toilet paper cannons. And it's amazing what 72 rolls of toilet paper will do during a song. I mean,
Yeah.
we literally can cover the stage and have
Yeah.
a foot thick clump of toilet paper.
That show we were playing, and I knew that I was playing drums, but I couldn't see them. I could hear them, but like there was just a gigantic fluff of toilet
it was
paper.
a blizzard of toilet paper.
There was a blizzard. Like I couldn't see my legs at all. I just saw it like wiggling. Like I saw it every time I would kick the drum. The toilet paper would just like pop a little bit.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, ultimately we're trying to have fun, but you know, Jared and I have written songs, and the next phase we are actually going to record, but we want to do it kind of in a live setting here in our basement.
Yeah.
And we're going to record to tape, and just do it kind of lo-fi and live. We want to do that, you know, and that's our ultimate goal. I mean, you know, we do want to tour. It's kind of hard right now because I've went back to school. I'm 44 and I'm in you know, an engineering program, so it's hard to even, you know, get the time together to do that. But eventually we do want to do some little mini tours and all that. I really want to go to some town that's has no idea what shit karate is and bring the full Monty to them. You know, just the toilet paper cannons, the upside down guitar solo, and just have them kind of shaking their heads. And, you know, we can't understand what we're doing.
Yeah.
And
they're just sitting there all flabbergasted. What even is this?
Yeah.
What even is?
So that, you know, that's the goal. We want to continue having fun and not have any pressure in it, but we just want to keep doing it. And then eventually I'll be too old and I want to be the first band to actually hand down a band to someone else, like a company.
Oh, that's such a good idea.
Yeah. And I thought, I have a friend in Chicago who's a really good piano player, and his son is, I don't know, he's maybe 8 or 9. He's bringing his guitar everywhere and he's learning from blues masters. And I thought, you know, he's a front runner. So I sent a message I sent a message to Ig. I said, you know, and I told him that, and he says, oh, no. My son, he at 5 years old, he decided he was going to start a band called Jesus Christ. So, yeah, so
What a twist.
yeah, it's a twist. So I'm going to have to find someone, but you know, I don't know. I just want to keep having fun, and that's the goal. And Jared and I are doing that, and we're not stressed out. And there's no infighting, and you know, you got two really good friends on stage, just having fun, and we could try to throw stuff at each other and on the stage, and I don't know. You'll see the glances when one of us nails it, or you'll see us laughing when we made a mistake. But we cover it, and it's just fun. That's the goal. We want to have fun, and we want everybody to have fun watching us. And we're running out of ideas, but we're going to keep trying to do crazy antics on the stage, and just that's what it's about. It's entertainment. At the end of the day, it's entertainment.
So what's this? Then what's this last song?
The last song is it's a very heavy song, and we've titled it "See You on the Battlefield."
Guys, I want to thank you so much for having me out here and doing the show. It's really cool to talk to people that are veterans in the scene and are, helping keep things going. Like helping to trying to bring people into the fold.
No, it's our pleasure. I mean, I love the show. I was driving back from Tuscaloosa and I listened to the show the whole way through. I mean,
thanks,
I'm excited about it, and I think you see what's going on, and it's great that there's this platform, and I could listen to the Beach Bug
Oh God,
all day
long.
all day.
Lord have mercy.
Yeah, I mean, doing this show has gotten me more excited about music in a way I hadn't been for years.
Yeah.
Well, there was a long period. Tom you've been in the upstate a while, but like we grew up in the upstate, and there was a really.
I didn't. I grew up in Charleston.
Well, I mean, but you were up here a decent amount, like because you were talking about the scene earlier.
Yeah,
like
I've
back,
been up here like 12 years.
That's wild. I mean, for the scene, because that's about how long I've been playing music, and there were some pretty dark periods. Like,
Yeah,
there was
just nothing.
There was nothing. They were the downtown cover bands, and that's it.
Yeah.
And
Well, after places like there used to be places like the Unknown and Eximitos and Grounds for Faith and stuff where
Yep.
kids were playing shows.
right,
And all of those places are gone.
right,
And
I've seen it over the past like 4 or 5 years. Really, there's just been like this slow growth, especially with places like the Radio Room.
yeah,
The Radio Room it's a place where people they give everybody a shot.
yeah,
Yeah.
They give everybody a shot, and I've played all over the country, touring and things like that. And something that the Radio Room does that almost nobody does is you're like, hey, I want to book a show here, and they're like, hey, I like that sound. Here are some other bands that could go well with you, and they create a cohesive sound for the
Yeah.
evening.
Yeah.
And they actually like try to put together shows, not just book bands.
right. And
Because-
I love that.
Yeah.
Right, because you go and you're just like, all right, well, I like this band. I'm going for this band. And then you go and you find 2 other bands that are very similar or in some way fit with that other band. And you're like, "Oh, now I have 2 other bands that I love." It's like a live Pandora almost.
yeah,
It's like a live Pandora, the Radio Room is. So
Yeah.
it's,
Yeah. And there's a lot of DIY stuff going on too. That's really
Yeah,
cool right now
yeah.
with Grandma's House and Concrete Castle, and that we've talked about it again. The Pablo scene, and they're not going to be able to walk.
Pablo generation.
Yeah, they're not going to be able to walk through a doorway after listening to this podcast.
Yeah.
Their heads are going to be a little bit big, but they deserve it. So that's helping too. But Radio Room's been great. And in fact, when my wife and I were looking for a house to buy, one of the factors for the house that we bought was that it was only about 1.5 miles from the Radio Room. I mean, it was a big decision. We go to a lot of shows there, and I think when they move their stuff to the new venue, they're actually going to come with their dollies and take Lynn and I and Jared and put us into a moving truck and just move us to the new
Install you
space
permanently.
Yeah,
All of that. Tom, we joked the other night. One of
yes.
our shows, Tom doesn't want to be buried or cremated or anything. He wants to be stuffed.
Yeah, like a taxidermist.
Like a taxidermist, stuff him, and then just put him in the corner of the Radio Room with a PBR in his hand and some dark glasses on, and just
I want to be their pull cue rack. is
yeah.
what I
And
wanna
he's
be.